Yep, I think so. So
It's just, I don't know what tomorrow is.
I think it's just, yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, well, that's the first one.
Yes. Maybe before election day.
Mhm.
Thoughts?
Just fast forward to the end.
This might be a few.
It says, hearing no feedback,
Wait, no,
30-second delay.
so we're good. I think we're good.
Still got 1 minute left.
Well, that's fine.
Yep. Because if the phones are synced, they usually are. Our town hall clock always gets off, the one on the wall, next thing you know, we're 4 or 7 minutes off.
I had been going to adjust this one a month or two ago because it was 5 minutes off.
Well, this is 6 o'clock, we think good on the IT side. I will call to order the Board of Adjustment, Burnett County Government Center, October 7th, 2024 meeting. Notice was posted in accordance to Wisconsin statute 19.84 open meeting law. At this time, we'll ask the secretary to read the public hearing.
Notice public hearing, variance 2424 Nelson. Public notice is hereby given to all persons in the town of Webb Lake, Burnett County, Wisconsin, that Randall and Kristen Nelson have made an application relative to a proposal to vary the terms of the Burnett County Land Use and Shoreland Protection Code of Ordinances as follows. To leave a patio, steps, and retaining wall that was constructed without land use permit, which does not meet the rear setbacks at 29723 Little Bear Drive in the PUD zoning district, lot 15 of Deepwood Pines addition to Voyager Village, section 324114. Variance 2425, Poling and Berry. Public notice is hereby given to all persons in the town of Rusk, Burnett County, Wisconsin, that Maya Poling and Patrick Berry have made an application relative to a proposal to vary the terms of the Burnett County Land Use and Shoreland Protection Code of Ordinances as follows. To expand the existing cabin dwelling more than 25% on a structure which does not meet the private road setback located on the Yellow River at 25655 Bass Lake Lane in the RR3 zoning district, lot 5, CSM volume 10, page 80 in the northwest quarter of the southwest quarter, section 243914.
Thank you. This time we'll entertain the agenda order.
I would make a motion to approve it.
Motion by Peterson,
Second.
second by Schmidt. Any other discussion on the agenda order? If not, all in favor of approving the agenda order, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. At this time, we'll read the meeting procedures. This hearing is being recorded, so we ask that only one person speak at a time. When your variance or appeal request is announced, we will ask that whoever is presenting that case come up to the table and sit in the chair. You will then present your case. The board may ask you questions during this process and have conversation with you. Once you are done presenting your case, the board has no additional questions. You will return to your seat. At that time, the board will open the public hearing. Those speaking during the public meeting will have a 3-minute time limit. When you are called upon for public comment, please start by stating your name for the record. Make comments to the Board of Adjustment members only. No questioning or arguments between individuals or in the audience. Any written correspondence received will be mentioned at this time as well. Once all the public speaking has concluded, the board will close the public hearing. The board may then follow up with additional questions for the applicant. The board will then deliberate the case amongst themselves, and you'll be likely to have a verbal decision tonight. The board may table or defer action whenever it concludes that additional evidence is needed or further study is required. If a decision is made tonight, the case amongst if a decision is made tonight, then the next Board of Adjustment meeting, the board members will sign the document. Once the document is filed in the office of the Board of Adjustment, usually in 2 business days, after the board signature, the 30-day appeal will start. Any person aggrieved by this decision or an applicant, officer, department, board, or bureau of the county or town may within 30 days after the filing of this decision in the Board of Adjustment commence the action in circuit court seeking a remedy available by certiorari. At this time, we will look at variance 2424 Nelson to leave a patio steps and retaining wall that were constructed without a land use permit, which does not meet the rear setback. At this time, whoever with Nelson would like to present, please come on up and state your name for the record.
I'm Randall Nelson. Stand up, sit down.
Sit down, please.
And I'm not sure what to do, but basically explain how we got here.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I think maybe a little history is in order. The grandmother bought a cabin in 1961 on Fish Lake. So I was 8 years old. And in 1970, Forge Village began and having had private property. All my growing up years, never, and my wife and I started looking for property in the late 80s, not finding anything suitable. A realtor said, well, there's a place just opened up in Voyager Village, but we never intended to even look there because of what I started to know about Voyager and the common property issue. Didn't own the shoreline, couldn't have a dock, couldn't moor your boat, and so forth. But this was the right property at the right price. I said, okay, I guess we can live with that. But in my history, I've only ever heard about the common property. Upon discovering GIS maps about 5 years ago, and after getting notice from Voyager that what I thought was common property was 25 feet. Actually, in my area, it was back, and I actually had about 50 feet of common property. And I had a little rock, a circle down there, and for a fire pit, you can go. And I said, whoops, I guess I'm on it. After seeing that I was on it. And so we went without for a couple of years, and then we said, well, we wanted one. And so we thought about where to put it. And the storm of 2011 presented what I believe to be a perfect spot for it. Off the common property in front of the cabin, now plus I have a septic drain field there that I couldn't go back any farther. I didn't want to go to the left because it'd be right under the neighbor's deck. And there was a buffer lot between us, so it seemed like a place in that we lost a number of trees. That kind of nature sort of cleared the place for us more or less. And so unaware unaware of any further ordinances or restrictions, just common property. I said, well, this didn't realize we needed a permit for it, for a patio. And so I dug it out, made the terrace. It ended up to be the size it was. And then we placed the bigger patio in and needed something to hold that up in the wall so it didn't go away. My family has my grandfather was a stonemason. We have an affinity for stones. So I thought that was a nice, aesthetically pleasing thing to put there to, as opposed to routine all brick, so. And so I put that in, and then last September, I got a notification from the aerial photos. Oh, I wish I would have known that. And any infringement on this is just unwitting and, I didn't know. And so that's why we are here. Get a buck and get up.
Any questions? On this yet?
Was the upper retaining wall done at the same time? The one that's just encroaching a little bit on the neighbor's property?
we- Okay,
The S kind of curve.
oh, that's, okay. That was all done at once. And,
But that was done at the
But
same
that
time as the
was done-
patio?
It was done at the same time as well, post the patio, putting in the patio. Then the rock walls and the main part of the retaining wall. I'm confused, is that, we probably have front or back?
Well, that's always confusing. I guess it would be, being we have a 40-foot setback, it would be the back lot.
Well, I always like to say roadside, or
That's better.
Like, yes,
everybody knows what you're talking about.
Okay, so the roadside retaining wall.
The roadside retaining wall, was done, after completion of the patio itself, but I mean, the same.
Okay, it was done about the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought the roadside retaining wall looked like it had been there longer than the pavers, but that doesn't matter. It was done about the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
It may have been. You're asking someone with a
I know how that gets. I understand.
But it was done, yes, around the same time.
Yeah, it looks like neither one of them are there in 2018 photo.
Did we have any trouble with impervious surface?
No.
You said this is a buffer lot in between?
Um,
Where you're-
Lot
where you're-
16.
but 16 is owned by the Rollins. It's my understanding, he purchased that quite a while ago. And owns it.
Anything else you want to add, Mr. Wagner?
Yeah, noted the sites, so the boulders was 31 square feet, the steps were 12 square feet, and the patio was 9 square feet for the area of those improvements there, so it's not very large either way, even less what's over the setback doors.
I don't have any further questions.
Nope, I'm good. If you're good, we can
Okay.
have you head back to your chair.
Thank you. Did we-
Alright.
We gotta open the meeting.
Yep, at this time, we'll open the public hearing for variance 2424. Any public comments? Anyone in the room? Did we get any letters that we need to state?
You have no letters, no correspondence from the township, nothing from the DNR, since it's not within the 75-foot setback. There was a comment from conservation just saying that they think some shrubs and trees should be planted between the patio and
Was
those.
that the 5 and 5 or is that the other?
Yeah, well, that was what I put a number in there. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And nothing from Voyager Village itself.
No, but Voyager Village is in the room, so
I mean, I can speak, Bill Bedine, I'm the general manager at Voyager Village on behalf of Voyager. Obviously, we know that there's several others in that area that have been granted variances in that area. Obviously, Mr. Nelson is not quite as far into that setback as others. And Mr. Nelson has also presented a plan to our AECC committee about remediation of that property and how he intends to maintain that property going forward with proper vegetation, so.
And I'm very willing to plant some shrubs and some trees.
Hearing no other public comments, we'll close the public hearing and the committee will deliberate amongst ourselves and probably have an answer for you tonight. Any further questions anyone has on clarification, anything?
I do not.
Again, I think if you look at the three-step variance test, it meets all three very, three of the three steps. We have had precedent in similar circumstances, especially in Voyager. They were able to talk about having a plan to fix that, the parcel with them, which is basically the managing force for a lot of the stuff there.
Right.
Interesting, the staff specified 5 shrubs and 5 trees.
Well, Emily put
Density or
put
something.
a restoration, plant some shrubs and trees, but then everyone always, I was just trying to avoid the
I
question.
think that's a.
Because
good-
people
I
would
think
say,
that's a
how
good-
many?
Well, I think that's really good. I was
I like
kind of
that too.
chuckling myself.
So Voyager's okay with that?
Well, I'm talking about on his property.
Okay, so you're okay with that? It was
And
like,
Voyager must have a plan of what they're gonna do on the Voyager property.
okay, on your property, which would be past the 40-foot setback, Burnett County would like to see 5 shrubs and 5 trees planted there back in that area.
So on the.
On your parcel.
On your parcel, not on the Voyager parcel.
That's supposed to be just left alone. Yeah, so on the.
Essentially that 20-foot kind of between the, yep.
Yes.
Cause yeah, we can't put any restrictions or requirements on the Voyager
Sure.
property. That's why we didn't address it.
Absolutely.
So
Well, I'm ready to make a motion. I make a motion that we approve variance 2424 for Nixon, and a land use permit for these items must be obtained by December 15th of 2024, and 5 shrubs and 5 trees shall be planted between the patio and the rear property line. These must be local and native species, and also follow all local, county, state, and federal requirements for this activity.
I have a motion to approve 2424 Nelson with the 3 said conditions. Do I have a second?
I would second that.
I have a second by Peterson. Any other discussion on said variance? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries to approve variance 2424 Nelson. Thank you. You have your variance.
Thank you very much.
And again, we'll sign it next month and then the 30-day period goes, so.
Just let you know that I remember one on the recommendations, when I got the letter. 9/13/23. I came in like 2 or 3 days later and paid the double fee for the late.
yeah, so we have a list on our website of things that for Northwoods like trees. and
If you want to
shrubs.
get out of here, you can. If not, you enjoy the show, you feel free to stay and watch. It's entertaining. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
You guys move on. At this time, we'll hear variance 2425, Poling and Berry, to expand the existing cabin dwelling more than 25% on a structure which does not meet the private road setback. And if you can have whoever's presenting come forward.
Good evening,
State your name.
Patrick Berry. And yeah, we'll follow Mr. Nelson's lead and give him just a brief history. I'm a Wisconsinite, despite what my license plates outside may state. Grew up in Green Bay, and I came to know Burnett County, from a young age. My best friend growing up, Ben Anderson's, parents were both from Siren. They were very much my extended family and, spent a lot of time with them, on their property on Big Sand Lake. Even going so far as to live there, for a few summers during college and working for the Burnett County Highway Department. The summer the tornado came through. It was a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, that I woke up on a Friday morning. My wife was sadly in Atlanta taking care of business due to her mother's death. And we were not in the market for a cabin. And by the time we went to bed that evening, we had a cabin. And better yet, it was in Burnett County. Yeah, it was like Christmas morning. Skip ahead a year later, we'd like to build an addition. I sometimes joke with my wife, it was as it turns out, the worst decision we possibly could have made, because whenever I'm at the cabin, I just want to be there and stay there. And whenever I'm not at the cabin, I want to be there. So yeah, we're looking to add on, and are, of course, it's like a game of Tetris with the setbacks. And so the design that we've come up with for, as minimal impact as possible, still obviously requires the variance, largely due to the road. Were it not for the road, I think we'd have a lot more options available. But given the road's placement, that certainly limits us. So yeah, our designs, which Salmella Architects put together, we have the structure, the addition falling entirely within the setbacks, save for a portion of the deck. And then, yeah, again, it's really just the road that kind of limits us. So far as I know, historically, I think, and I can't say this, on anything more than just my hunch, but I think the structure existed first, and then the road came in second, and that was the only place the road could go because of the wetlands. And so that kind of, puts us, somewhat between a rock and a hard place. So yeah, I'll leave it at that and take any questions if you have them.
Yeah, I do have one. We have an unknown PVC drain pipe coming from the structure.
Yes, and so far as we know, it is or was abandoned. That is definitely something that in the process of adding on, we would take care of and remove. So yeah, I wouldn't hopefully see that as a deterrent.
So we don't know what it is, but you will get rid of it.
Well, yes, if it needs to be gotten rid of, we absolutely will.
Well, we need to find out what it is.
Right, so yeah, I'm skipping a step there, just assuming, and perhaps I shouldn't, that it's dysfunctional or not functional. But yes, finding out what it is obviously first, and then taking it from there. Yeah, we would absolutely follow protocol in that regard.
Okay. Because we see a lot of those a lot of the old LP gas furnaces were a lot of times dumped outside, which there is an acid in there, so they shouldn't be dumped outside.
Yeah.
And then for years and years, you saw washers, gray water getting dumped outside.
Okay.
So we've ran into both of that. So we want to make sure that neither one of those is for sure.
Gotcha.
That if it is a LP gas furnace, it needs to go into the floor drain into the septic system.
Okay. Noted, thank you.
Any other information you would like to add at this time when you have the opportunity? Otherwise, I don't think
I don't
there's
have
too
any
many
more.
questions. The application was pretty thorough.
Yep, it was.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think Darren back there for that. It's good work.
Yeah, and just a comment on the pipe, I'm with Sawmill Architect, so I don't know what that pipe is or what it could have been, but the existing structure had electric heat. So it wouldn't have been a furnace.
So it must
If
have,
it was a washer dryer, that's been long abandoned, because that's been,
there's no washer dryer in there now.
there is, but that's been all redone,
Oh, okay.
so. The
Okay.
previous owner had done some interior work and kind of remodeled this tiny little bathroom. And added a washer dryer in the kitchenette.
Mhm.
So, because it's a small cabinet. It's a-
Yep, we visit all the sites.
Yeah. So, and then with the new septic, I'm sure all that got routed in.
Okay. And Google Maps sent us on the other side. I had to paddle across the river.
Well, yeah, that's, I could have given you that heads up, because you've been there and done that, yeah.
Mine were.
I should send those neighbors Christmas gift or something.
Across the river.
You're so close and yet
Yeah.
so far away.
I don't have any questions.
I'm good. If not, then you can go take your seat.
Thank you very much.
We'll open the public hearing. At this time, we'll open the public hearing for variance 2425 Poland and Berry to expand existing cabin dwelling. Do we have any comments from the public that is present? Hearing none, do we have any correspondence that needs to be mentioned or stated?
No correspondence, again, the DNR didn't weigh on it, because it's, not within the setback or the portion that it is can be permitted. There was staff comments from, Conservation Department. I didn't put that in there for my recommendation, though. They put in their gutters and downspouts on addition and directed to a rain garden, I guess. I didn't feel that was entirely necessary since they're not within the 75-foot setback.
And they're very good steward of the land.
Yeah.
There's one trail going to the river.
Yep.
You know, it's maintained really well for what, it's very nice. It's not mowed right down to the river, so it's very nice.
Are you referencing for the proper erosion control or gutters?
No, there was, Emily had, in one of the things in here, she said.
Okay.
Gutters and downspouts.
Yep, okay, just
I
making
didn't want
sure.
that part, but yeah, we still need proper erosion control in
Yeah.
place.
Jason, what is the permit, no, if the deck 75 feet in and the 59.692.
Great minds, yeah.
And B,
One.
you gotta get the whole thing.
Okay, 1B, yeah, got it.
What is that?
Yes, sir.
That's what we all call the gazebo rule. If you
Okay.
ever hear us talk about that.
Yes, sir.
That's that.
Okay.
That's where they can
Couldn't
have.
we just put the gazebo on there?
That's the state statute number.
Thank
I
you.
asked the same thing before the meeting, that's why I had to chuckle. At this time, we'll close the public hearing.
So that statute allows you to have up to 200 square feet of open sided construction within the 75-foot setback, deck, screen porch,
State law.
gazebo, it's state law thing.
200,
200.
note that one.
I knew that one. If you would have said gazebo.
If you go and talk to the zoning and drop that statute, they'll be impressed. If you go in there
I
and quote
try
that
not to
number.
go back to zoning. Okay, we've closed the public hearing. The committee will deliberate amongst ourselves. And give a decision likely tonight.
Well, the road setback is, first of all, the cabin is, that's the main thing. The cabin's inside the road setback. This is actually going the other way.
Yep.
You know, so. And. I mean, it's like two more houses at the end, maybe?
Yep.
I mean, it's not like it's a big public road where they're gonna expand it.
No, the curve it's pretty
Yeah.
private actually,
Yes,
so
right.
where it is, and I don't know if even the neighbors would see any of the,
Correct.
so what it is.
Especially the way they've taken care of the land. You're not gonna ever see it. And it's on posts too, right?
Yeah, the design is intended to keep as sort of the natural
It was all on
environment,
posts.
and that's what we
That,
like.
that impressed me too, because you're not running excavators, cutting a bunch of trees and doing something.
Nature
so
will
that-
just run its course underneath
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
mitigating any.
I think the unique property limitations, I appreciate, this has been one of the better applications we've had. a few of us noticed it, so thank you. It's nice to have the clarification in some of these things, so. Unique property limitations were explained very well in the thing, the solar solutions. Unnecessary hardship, I think it meets the qualifications for that. As we talked about the road, it almost is a hardship. And no harm to public interest, so. I don't have an issue with it myself. I think it meets the 3 criteria.
Are you ready for a motion?
I don't have anything further. I thought it was very well done.
I would make a motion to approve the variance. With the stipulations on the staff report. Number one, we have to get a land use permit obtained for the addition prior to construction. Then we're gonna use the 75 feet. We're gonna use a small portion of that deck into the gazebo rule by the state. The PVC drain, we wanna make sure that that's gone. And we need to make sure we do erosion control, so when we're digging out the posts or doing anything, we don't wash any sand into the river. And follow all local, county, state, and federal requirements for the activity.
I have a motion by Peterson. Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Seconded by Schmidt. Any other discussion on variance 2425 Pullen and Berry? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries to approve. You have your variance. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Review and sign previous documents.
See, so this first one, this was that garage on Spirit Lake access. Next one here was the bunkhouse on the small parcel.
10.
This was the solar and patio within the rear setback.
Having signed those, I think we are done. Motion to adjourn by Grabsky. Do I have a second?
I'd second it.
Second by Peterson. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. We are adjourned.
Thanks, Tammy.
Yeah, thanks.
Right,